Good morning and welcome to Live in a Greenhouse on YouTube. If you're new here, I'm the owner of what will soon be the first greenhouse enclosed tiny home in the United States. I post videos about once per week following the construction process. We ended last week having prepared the upper portion of the property to receive the greenhouse package. Now we need to prepare the greenhouse level for the greenhouse installers to arrive. Space to maneuver on the site is tight, so Matt is still playing a game of dominoes where he has to complete one task to make room to be able to do the next task. And once the greenhouse goes up, Matt won't be able to maneuver heavy machinery on the property at all. This week's tasks are to finish drainage and backfill, finish installing the sonotubes for the greenhouse post holes on the north side of the foundation, install 2 air-to-ground heat exchange systems. One is under the pool and the other is under what will be the food garden portion of the greenhouse. Stub out all the utilities from the house to outside the perimeter of the greenhouse and bring the entire greenhouse level up to the new grade. No biggie. First task is to bury the footing drains runout so Matt can remove the pump and that area can be backfilled, which will use up some of the dirt pile that is in the way of other tasks, like installing the footing drain on that end of the house. Now to finish the footing drain. One of the benefits of living on site is I'm available when there's a question. Here we needed to make the decision where to locate the exhaust riser for the air-to-ground heat exchange that runs under the pool. Took a little discussion to be sure Matt and I were on the same page to move the exhaust a few feet to the west. He added a couple 90-degree fittings and then could finish backfilling that section. Dave moved on to working in the pool area while Matt finished up with the exhaust riser and backfilling that end of the foundation. After using up the piles of dirt, Matt still needed more dirt to raise the grade on that end of the greenhouse, so he dug up the ramp that had been built to get machines up and down between the old and new grade levels. Since the greenhouse level will be a few feet above the previous grade, we need to build a ramp from the lower level to the double doors on the west end of the greenhouse. Time to decide where that new ramp will go. The temporary ramp was on the left side of that tree, but now that we know where the final grade and the position of the double doors will be, it looks like it's better to move it to the right side of that tree. Matt had used up the dirt from the old ramp, so he brought back the pile of topsoil to make a new ramp. With standard construction, running utilities would come later in the schedule, but we have to stub out all lines out past the edge of the greenhouse. Today, Matt's dealing with power and septic. Dave ran the compactor around the foundation, while Matt moved the remainder of the upper dirt pile to raise grade at the greenhouse level. Then, to make room for the backhoe to get to the pool area, Matt moved rock into the foundation. There were a couple awesome splashes. After an early morning delivery of a pallet of perf pipe, it's time to work on one of the air-to-ground heat exchange systems. This one is under the pool. We want the heat exchange pipes to fit between the footings, so first order of business is to remove the slag concrete from when the truck was washed out after the foundation pour. Green thing's now going to be the manifold that the 4-inch goes into.
Exactly. And then we'll drill out of that a little bit of an angle to get it up on top of the rock here. We'll do 5 steps. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Matt then drilled the holes in the manifold that the pipes will fit into. Now that work was done inside the pool, the last sonotube was put in place, and Matt finished backfilling that side of the foundation. After the air tubes were covered with rock, and the rock layer inside the house foundation was ready for the concrete floor, the rest of the rock was loaded up and trucked to the now empty holding area where the topsoil had been stored. A few adjustments were needed due to raising the grade level. These allow access to the sand filters vents. Also time to cut off the next section of the deck to clean up the bank and make room for the installers to move around that side. Next is time to bring in the water supply. In addition to the house, we're running new water to the RV pad, so one more trench before the greenhouse is erected. And then fill in that trench. Get ready to move on to the next project. Now on to installing the air-to-ground heat exchange system on the greenhouse's west end under the food garden. This system will include 2 layers of pipe at about 2 feet and about 4 feet below the surface. There will be 2 risers at each end of the pipes, one attached to each manifold for each layer of pipes. Backfilling 2 layers of pipes is a little trickier than a single layer. A very productive few days from open trenches and big piles of rock and dirt to ready for Adam to drill the greenhouse post holes. Please like and subscribe, and come back next time for the start of the greenhouse installation.